The mother of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says the Foreign Minister has not done his job in protecting her son, and she says if Kevin Rudd doesn't act now, he should resign. Christine Assange has delivered an 8-page handwritten letter to Mr Rudd's Brisbane office, highlighting the injustices against her son and inaction by the Australian government. Julian Assange is still in London fighting extradition to Sweden over sexual misconduct allegations. Meanwhile, WikiLeaks' top defector has blasted Julian Assange as a brilliant but irresponsible megalomaniac who has become all he hates. Karen Barlow reports.
Julian Assange's mother is holding on to all she can, including mementos of her son.
That was Julian and myself outside the mansion at about 2 o'clock in the morning when he just got released.
Having got nowhere with an earlier plea to the Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, to bring her son home, Christine Assange has turned to what she thinks is a more sympathetic ear of Kevin Rudd. She has delivered a handwritten letter to his Brisbane office indicating her patience is wearing thin.
He's got to act, that's his job. We elected him to protect the citizens overseas as part of his role. He hasn't done it.
Christine Assange says Mr Rudd should act now on behalf of her son or resign, especially after earlier taking the view that
Mr Assange is not himself responsible for the unauthorised release of 250,000 documents. The Americans are responsible for that.
The WikiLeaks founder and his supporters believe extradition to Sweden will be followed by American legal pursuit. There he could face espionage charges over WikiLeaks' release of US diplomatic cables, charges which can carry the death penalty.
Julian should never ever be extradited to the US on the grounds that we know of today. I think it is very bad that the US is so aggressively trying to build a case against him.
This legal support from Julian Assange's former second-in-charge is balanced by a character assassination set out in a new tell-all book. Daniel Domscheit-Berg says WikiLeaks is chaotic and he's painted Julian Assange as power-hungry, delusional and irresponsible.
He did not coordinate with anyone how to pass material. He even repeatedly violated internal agreements by passing on material.
Julian Assange is threatening to sue Daniel Domscheit-Berg for leaking against WikiLeaks. For the former collaborator, there lies the problem.
Julian has become exactly the kind of person he despised. At least I do have that impression. There's barely anyone, whether it's The Guardian, the BBC or myself, who criticises him and doesn't get mail from his lawyer.
The book suggests WikiLeaks can no longer protect its sources. Daniel Domscheit-Berg says he wrote the book to counter Julian Assange's growing hero status.
I think the general perception of WikiLeaks has become very distorted. Also about why people have left this organization, what the criticism here is. And I think in the light of, or in the spirit of transparency, actually we all need to understand a little bit better of how actually all of this went down.
Apart from threatening legal action, WikiLeaks is questioning Daniel Domscheit-Berg's integrity. It says a former collaborator was a self-confessed WikiLeaks saboteur who only had limited influence. Julian Assange's mother has introduced another possible motive.
Look, there's a lot of money to be made out of Julian at the moment, isn't there? Let's face it.
And that includes lawyers. The extradition case in London is continuing with the closing statements of both the prosecution and defence. Karen Barlow, Late Line.